Hello, we continue to review the most important news from the stock and cryptocurrency markets, and the most important news that directly affects the stock market sentiment is the new 13th round of trade negotiations between the US and China, which began this Thursday. So US and Chinese authorities will make concessions to stop the trade war. This was reported by the representatives of both countries on Friday. Washington has promised to postpone the introduction of duties on Chinese products. In return, China will increase the purchase of agricultural products from the United States. At the same time, the parties are still discussing the rules for the use of the intellectual property by Chinese companies, US access to Chinese markets, as well as existing tariffs on Chinese goods. But just 2 weeks ago, Washington planned to limit China's access to US exchanges. The news partially reassured investors. As a result, stock indices almost recovered losses. Furthermore, there is a new wave of war in Syria, which began after US President Donald Trump decided to withdraw American units from the area. On his Twitter page, he even wrote that the United States is going to completely curtail its military presence in eastern Syria. The Pentagon and a part of Congress opposed such steps. Thus, the depth of the Turkish operation in Syria and its consequences for the region will depend on which point of view wins in Washington. And some analysts concerned that this news from Syria will affect on stock market in mid-term. But let's get back to the stock market, because Tesla recently released a report for the third quarter. Tesla sold 97,000 cars, but experts expected sales in the region of 99,000. So Wall Street analysts drew attention to a key trend. This year, Tesla is making the main effort to sell the most budget model, and sales of most expensive Model S and Model X have fallen significantly. In addition, the latest supply data means that Tesla will have to make considerable efforts to achieve the common goal for 2019 to sell 400,000 cars. So the company shares sink almost for 4%, but have already readjusted. And now let's move on to the news of cryptocurrency world. So Bitcoin rose to 8,500, and after that breakthrough, the mood of cryptocurrency market has changed. And some analytics thinks that in the medium term, BTC will continue to move up. And I also note that the mining giant Bitmain introduced 2 new devices for cryptocurrency mining, both ASIC miners from the Antminer 17th line. As the company writes on the blog, ASICs have been improved in terms of energy efficiency and hash rate. It also became known that Nbox from Bitmain will soon appear on the market. It is a special container in which 180 S17 miners can be placed. And there is one more interesting news about cryptocurrency from China. So the list of the richest people in China includes 12 representatives of the crypto industry. Among them were 2 founders of the mining giant Bitmain, as well as the head of Binance Changpeng Zhao and the representatives of the crypto exchanges OKCoin and Huobi. And we continue to highlight updates of some significant projects on cryptocurrency market. One of them is Telegram Open Network. Telegram has released the rules of using Gram token wallet. It will be available as standalone application and built into the Telegram Messenger. And there is one more news about Telegram. On Friday, the SEC secured a temporary injunction against the release of the Gram cryptocurrency by Telegram Group Incorporated and Ton Ether Incorporated. US authorities insist that Gram is a security, which means last year's ICO, with the participation of American investors, should have been regulated by the US Securities Act of 1933. The day after the SEC temporarily blocked the release of the Gram cryptocurrency, there occurred. The team of Pavel Durov commented on their situation in a letter to investors. So, over the past 18 months, Telegram has been trying to get in touch with the representatives of the US Securities and Exchange Commissions. And get clarification from its experts about what they think about the Telegram Open Network project. And right now, together with its advisors, the company is analyzing ways out of this situation, including the possible postponement of the project's launch date, the letter said. The Ton blockchain platform, according to the plan, was supposed to earn, "We are working hard to solve this problem quickly, and we hope to provide new information over the next week," the letter said. The first hearing of the case will be held held on October 24th. Some investors suggest that Telegram will postpone the launch and go on the Blockstack EOS ICO rating startup's path. There were no clear answers for a very long time about Ethereum 2.0, but during DevCon 5, Vitalik Buterin presented the transition to this new stage of Ethereum. He tried to answer to all questions in his last post on Ethereum Search. The transition to Ethereum 2.0, according to him, will take up 6 hours, but the actual implementation may take up to 2 years. During this time, the Ethereum Foundation will work on the implementation of Phase 02. It starts with the introduction of the POS algorithm, and the Ethereum 1 network at the same time will work as before, but the withdrawal of funds at this stage will be impossible. For most users, the process will be in the background. The difference will be that witness data will be added with each new transaction, which allows them to proceed already on the Ethereum 2 network. Another piece of news on the Ethereum table is that CFTC chairman said today that Ethereum is a commodity and Ethereum futures are the next step. And many analysts think that Ethereum futures will affect on its price. But right now Ethereum price also stayed above the support level, and RSI indicator doesn't exclude the beginning of fall down in the near future due to the information of a downward pattern. And there is one more interesting news about Facebook. Earlier this week, US senators called on Visa, MasterCard and Stripe to leave Facebook's Libra digital currency project. At the end of the week, companies followed the board with eBay and PayPal. At the same time, Visa and Stripe emphasizes that we still see the potential in the blockchain and Libra. Calibri CEO David Marcus wrote that you should not put an end to the project, although in the short term it will significantly hit him. Amid pressure from the regulators around the world, Facebook CEO will speak at the US Congress on the 23rd of October. And at the same time, 3 dozen blockchain startups and non-profit organizations announced plans to implement the Libra fork, which will not have limitations of the original version. Open Libra developers have published on GitHub their version of the virtual machine with unlimited access. The protocol itself will supposedly work on Tendermint software. And the last but not least for today is the news about lawsuit against Tether and Bitfinex. The stablecoin issuer Tether and its affiliate Bitfinex Bitcoin exchange distributed statements on the 8th of October, according to which both companies expect unfunded lawsuits to be filed against them alleging market manipulation of the USDT token. And on the other day, against Bitfinex Incorporated and its subsidiaries filed a class action lawsuit for more than $1.4 trillion with the East District Court of New York. So, top managers of Bitfinex, as well as Panamanian Processing Crypto Capital and the Global Trade Solutions AG are also defendants in the case. The latter appear in the case of shadowing banking for Bitcoin exchanges. They were accused of violating the US Commodity Exchange Act, the RICO Act, money laundering, pump and dump schemes, and many other things. The lawsuit is overseen by experienced lawyers who sued Craig Wright in Florida. But many people think that the amount of the lawsuit is absolutely unrealistic, and there is a feeling of some kind of black PR. So this lawsuit will affect on cryptocurrency market in mid-term and of course in long term. And many analysts advise to share your stablecoin deposit in some other stablecoins, and we have them, for example, USDC, TUSD, and etc. And do not forget about our contest in our previous video. And that's all for today. Goodbye.